Moody's drops 4 shock bombs in 72 hours, fears retaliation from CCP, urges remote work for employees. Chinese cabbage hits rock bottom at a few cents per kilogram, forcing farmers to smash and burying in the ground. Cheating? A lottery player in Jiangxi buys 50,000 tickets with the same number and wins over 200 million yuan. Nearly 1,700 electric cars made in China recalled due to programming issue. Japan's first ever conviction for illegal organ trafficking shines a light on forced organ harvesting. It's all covered in today's China Truths. Moody's drops 4 shock bombs in 72 hours, fears retaliation from CCP, urges remote work for employees. As previously reported, Moody's, an international investment rating agency, has unleashed 4 consecutive shockwaves within a span of 3 days in the outlook for the Chinese Communist Party. In more detail, on December 5, in the wake of downgrading the outlook for the CCP to negative, Moody's, the international investment rating agency, further revised the outlook for Hong Kong and Macau to negative on the 6th. This encompassed 18 Chinese companies, including Alibaba and Tencent, alongside the ratings of 8 Chinese banks. On the 7th, Moody's once again modified the outlook for 10 Chinese insurance companies and their associated overseas subsidiaries from stable to negative. Moody's also declared that the downgrade in the outlook signifies structural changes in the Chinese economy, a deceleration in midterm growth momentum, and an augmented risk of sustained contraction in the mainland property market. However, Moody's strong move also faces concerns about possible retaliation from the CCP. On the 7th, the Financial Times of the UK reported, citing information from 2 knowledgeable employees, that prior to publicly announcing the downgrade of the credit rating for the CCP, Moody's had already instructed its employees in China to work remotely. One employee disclosed to the Financial Times, the explanation given to employees for the remote work directive is that in the event of an unannounced search by Beijing authorities of Moody's offices, they would avoid immediately detaining a significant number of employees for questioning. They didn't explicitly state the reason to us, but everyone understands why. We are quite concerned that the CCP government might conduct surprise inspections. Informed employees also revealed that Moody's had similarly advised its Hong Kong-based employees to temporarily refrain from traveling to mainland China. The Financial Times suggests that these precautionary measures underscore the growing sense of insecurity among foreign companies operating in China. Earlier this year, the Beijing authorities conducted surprise searches at various American business consulting firms and arrested Chinese employees of the U.S. business investigation company Mintz Group on national security grounds. Mintz has since closed its Beijing office. According to a prior report by the Financial Times, the world's largest accounting firms, Deloitte and KPMG, have instructed employees traveling to Hong Kong not to carry company-issued computers and phones but to use disposable, one-time-use phones. McKinsey consultants traveling to Hong Kong also bring extra phones. Chinese cabbage hits rock bottom at a few cents per kilogram, forcing farmers to smash and burying in the ground. The Chinese economy is in decline, making life difficult for the lower classes. Many agricultural products are being purchased at absurdly low prices, leading to a large amount of vegetables and fruits being thrown away. Recent reports by mainland media state that seasonal vegetables such as cabbages, radishes, and potatoes are flooding the markets in the northern regions. Despite the bountiful harvest, farmers are feeling a chill of coldness. Price monitoring at Beijing's Infati market reveals that throughout November, the wholesale price of Chinese cabbage hit a low of 0.4 yuan per kilogram and a high of only 0.9 yuan. Celery prices also dropped to their lowest in recent years. In the production areas, the purchase price for vegetables like Chinese cabbage and radishes is even lower, just a few cents per kilogram. Due to an oversupply, the drastic fall in vegetable prices has caused heavy losses for farmers. In Shandong, Hebei, Inner Mongolia, and other places, some vegetables are being sold for a low price or even left unharvested in the fields, forcing farmers to plow them back into the land. A netizen from Binzhou, Shandong, revealed that locally grown greenhouse eggplants, tomatoes, and chili peppers are selling for just a few cents per kilogram, not even covering the cost of cultivation. Neighboring farmers growing these vegetables are also not making profits. One neighbor, who grew 400 mu of celery, ended up burying it in the ground because the sales revenue couldn't cover the cost of harvesting, resulting in a loss of over 1 million yuan. Not just growers, but local breeders are also suffering losses. Chicken, duck, pig, sheep, and cow breeders are all losing money, with large operations losing millions and smaller ones losing hundreds of thousands. According to a recent report by Reuters, under the guidance of the Chinese authorities, China's pig farming industry, like real estate development and electric vehicle industries, prioritizes industry growth and market share over profit, leading to an oversupply and a drop in pork prices. The pig farming industry is also facing severe losses. Cheating? A lottery player in Jiangxi buys 50,000 tickets with the same number and wins over 200 million yuan. Recently, during the China Welfare Lottery's Happy 8 draw, one person purchased nearly 50,000 times single lottery tickets and won a total of 220 million yuan, tax-free. Netizens mocked, saying Chinese lotteries are just deceiving fools. On December 2, the China Welfare Lottery's Happy 8 feet 2,023,322 inches draw was held. Usually, the draw results are released around 2200 hours every day, but that evening it was delayed by more than an hour because the Pick 7 and Pick 5 had too many winners, causing the prize pool to be exhausted. On December 3, Jiangxi Welfare Lottery Network announced that both Pick 7 and Pick 5 triggered the maximum total prize return risk control, and according to the China Welfare Lottery Happy 8 game risk control plan, the prize money for each winning ticket will be as announced in the draw. The rules of the Happy 8 game involve selecting 1 to 10 numbers from 1 to 80, betting on the corresponding group. Each group of numbers is considered one lottery ticket, priced at 2 yuan per ticket. In a recent Chinese lottery draw, the Pick 10 of 10 jackpot was not won, and there was only one winning ticket for the Pick 9 of 9 jackpot, worth 300,000 yuan. However, the Pick 7 of 7 category, which typically has about 100 winners, astonishingly had 50,159 winning tickets. Additionally, the Pick 5 of 5 category had an unusually high number of winners at 11,691. Remarkably, of the 50,159 Pick 7 of 7 winning tickets, a single player from Nanchang City, Jiangxi, won 49,250 of these tickets by purchasing the same number combination 40, 41, 42, 44, 63, 64, 65 feet 49,250 inches times, spending nearly 100,000 yuan. Screenshots circulating online show this number combination being purchased for 98,500 yuan, 49,250 tickets, and 100 yuan, 50 tickets, in a lottery shop in Shihu District, Nanchang City. The owner of a welfare lottery shop in Shihu District, Nanchang, confirmed to mainland media that indeed someone in their area bought nearly 50,000 tickets, and the two screenshots were leaked from their area's lottery shop management group. The shop owner said that the Pick 7 of 7 originally had a prize of 10,000 yuan per ticket, but because of the huge winning amount, it triggered a payout limit, reducing the prize to 4,475 yuan per ticket. The winner received a total prize amount of over 220 million yuan. According to the rules, prizes under 10,000 yuan per ticket are tax-free. Thus, the winner can claim over 220 million yuan without paying taxes. Faced with public skepticism, Jiangxi Province Welfare Lottery Distribution Center vaguely responded, saying that no one has come to claim these 50,000 tickets yet, so they cannot confirm this information for the time being. This news has sparked heated discussions on social media at home and abroad. Many netizens commented, "It must be someone inside playing with it. The director of the Welfare Lottery Center must be having a good year. The prize pool was harvested in one fell swoop. Have you ever seen a 50,000 times lottery ticket? Monopolizing 223 million, aren't they even trying to hide it anymore?" A super scam, what are they playing at? A trick to fool the fools. In recent years, China's lottery has repeatedly been exposed to fraud scandals. Many top prizes were revealed to be claimed by internal staff of the lottery centers, and there have been suspicions of people wearing lottery center uniforms to claim prizes, only covered by a coat. Nearly 1,700 electric cars made in China recalled due to programming issue. Close to 1,700 electric vehicles, EVs, manufactured in China will be recalled in Australia due to a programming issue that could lead to an electric arc, posing a potential risk of injury. This information was disclosed by the Australian Government Department of Infrastructure, Transport, Regional Development, Communication, and the Arts on the website on December 12. In line with this, Great Wall Motor, GWM, a Chinese automobile manufacturer headquartered in Hebei, will recall its GWM Aura 2023 in Australia. The reason is that an electric arc between the charging plug and the vehicle can occur, posing a risk of injury or death. The notice states, due to a programming issue, if the operator removes the charging cable without canceling the charge, an electrical arc between the charging plug and the vehicle may occur. If an electrical arc comes into contact with the operator or bystanders, it will increase the risk of serious injury or death. GWM said it would contact all impacted owners in writing, requesting they make an appointment with their GWM dealer who will update the vehicle software for free. The car costs roughly $28,047 for Victorian residents, with the price varying slightly by state, according to the GWM Australia and New Zealand website. The car can travel up to 420 kilometers, 260 miles, and has a 7-year warranty. Another brand is Mazda Australia. The company is recalling nearly 9,000 diesel engine units produced between 2021 and 2023. A total of 8,936 BT50, TF, 3.0-liter variants will be called back because of an issue that can cause fuel leakage and a vehicle fire. The recall notice states, due to a manufacturing issue, the fuel hose may chafe against the engine oil level bracket and become damaged. If this occurs, fuel may leak in the presence of an external ignition source, resulting in a vehicle fire. Mazda will contact affected customers and advise them to present their vehicle to a Mazda dealer to have the fuel hose replaced at no charge when parts are available. On November 28, a recall notice was also issued for 8,039 variants of the Isuzu D-Max 2021 to 2023 for the same reason. Again, the recall notice advised of the potential for a fuel leak that could cause a fire. It is known that nearly 30 recall notices have been issued involving multiple types of cars since November 1, 2023. Japan's first-ever conviction for illegal organ trafficking shines a light on forced organ harvesting. In a landmark ruling, a Japanese court has convicted a non-profit executive of facilitating illegal overseas organ transplants for Japanese citizens. On November 28, the Tokyo District Court sentenced 63-year-old Hiromichi Kikuchi, chairman of the Association for Patients of Intractable Diseases, a non-profit organization. Kikuchi received an 8-month prison term and a fine of 1 million yen, around $6,800, for arranging organ transplants abroad for 2 Japanese citizens without government approval. His organization, which has been working with transplant patients for over 15 years, is now under scrutiny. Mr. Kikuchi's conviction shows Japan's efforts to crack down on organ trafficking and forced organ harvesting. The transplants that led to his arrest took place in Belarus in 2022. Mr. Kikuchi revealed that over the past 2 decades, his organization had facilitated about 170 transplants, with 90% of patients receiving transplants in Chinese hospitals. He highlighted the cost-effectiveness of the operations, noting that prices in China were significantly lower than in the United States. Following the COVID-19 pandemic and ensuing travel restrictions, Mr. Kikuchi shifted his focus to Eastern Europe and Central Asia. On November 28, the court handed down its final verdict. Mr. Kikuchi was sentenced to 8 months in prison and fined 1 million yen, about $6,778. The decision was widely discussed online, with some Japanese netizens expressing outrage. This group's inhumane acts, forcibly extracting organs from young individuals in China, are utterly deplorable, read one post. Another post criticized the leniency of the sentence. Kikuchi is essentially an accomplice to murder. This punishment is insufficient. For years, investigations and reports have highlighted the practice of forced organ harvesting in China's major hospitals, with substantial evidence supporting the claims. On June 25, 2022, the Epoch Times Japanese edition published an exclusive interview with Ushio Sugawara, a former member of Japan's largest Yakuza crime syndicate, Yamaguchi-gumi. Mr. Sugawara, who left the underworld in 2015 to become an economic commentator, recalled an incident from 2007. At that time, he was involved in a liver transplant for a friend's brother, arranged through an intermediary, and costing about $220,000. The liver transplant took place at Beijing's Armed Police General Hospital. After arriving in China, Mr. Sugawara visited his friend's brother at the hospital the day before the scheduled surgery. He described seeing the donor, a 21-year-old Falun Gong practitioner labeled a terrorist and sentenced to death, unconscious and medicated, with bandages on his hands and feet. The hospital staff explained that the severing of tendons in the donor's hands and feet was to prevent escape and ensure the quality of the organs. The transplant ultimately failed, resulting in the deaths of both the recipient and the donor. After the report on forced organ harvesting practices by the Epoch Times Japan, several prominent Japanese media outlets, including Yomiuri Shimbun, Japan's largest newspaper, launched investigations into Japanese intermediaries in overseas organ transplants and found evidence against the Association for Patients of Intractable Diseases and Mr. Kikuchi. The nonprofit, according to its website, has been connecting Japanese patients with overseas hospitals, primarily in China, for organ transplants since 2003. This timeline coincides with when Chinese hospitals began aggressively marketing organ transplants to foreign nationals. Canadian human rights lawyer David Mattis and the late David Kilger, a former Canadian cabinet minister, have long investigated the Chinese Communist Party's organ transplant practices. Their 2006 report, which was expanded into the book Bloody Harvest, raised suspicions that the CCP was illicitly harvesting organs and particularly targeting Falun Gong practitioners. In 2016, Mr. Mattis, together with Kilger and London-based investigative journalist Ethan Gutman, published Bloody Harvest/The Slaughter, an update. The 680-page report estimated that China was conducting 60,000 to 100,000 transplant surgeries annually. Don't forget to comment in the section below to share your opinions on today's topic with us. If you find the information helpful, please share this video with a friend to watch together. This will be a great source of motivation for our team to produce more and more quality and reliable videos. And also don't forget to like and subscribe to see more interesting topics from China Truths. Thank you for tuning in.